Okay, everybody, so they asked us to find the inverse of this function. And to find the inverse, first we're going to switch our x and our y variables. So x equals e to the y over 2 power. Now that I have my base and my exponent by itself, I can go ahead and translate. Y over 2 is the exponent of e to get x. Y over 2 is the exponent of e to get x, is what you're seeing here. So as we translate this, it moves into y over 2 equals log in base e of x. And I can see that my new inverse function that I'm creating is being divided by 2. So to fix that, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. And I get y, that's the inverse, is 2 times log in base e of x. And my very last step that I'm going to do is to simplify. This inverse y, the 2 coefficient is going to come right up here as an exponent. And log in base e is actually the natural log. Like that. And this will be the natural log of x squared. And number 4 says y equals 3 to the x minus 6. And now we can switch our x and our y variables. So x is 3 to the y minus 6. I'm looking for a base and a variable just by itself. So I need to get rid of the 6 by adding 6 to both sides. And that gives me x plus 6 equals 3 to the y. Now that I have a base and my variable that I'm solving for on the same side and everything else has been moved over to the other side, I'm ready to translate. So y is the exponent of 3 to get x plus 6. So this is telling me when I write my log function that y equals log base 3 of x plus 6. And this is not the same y, this is the inverse function now. So I need to note that it is the inverse function. And number 6. Number 6 tells us that y equals log base 4 of x cubed minus 7. Since this is already translated for us, we need to go the other direction. This is saying that y is, there we go, y is the exponent of 4 to get x cubed minus 7. And we want to make sure that as we do this, we're switching the x and the y. So x is the exponent of 4 to get x cubed minus 7. So if x is the exponent of 4, and we get y cubed minus 7, we're in a much better place to go ahead and solve this, because now we can just add 7 to both sides. And now my variable is being cubed, and so to do the opposite, basically, of the cube root, would be to raise everything to the 1/3 power. And this will allow me over here to multiply these exponents. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So this is just y, and it's the inverse. And on the other side, I have 4 to the power of x plus 7, all raised to the power of 1/3. And if you wanted to write it like when we first started Algebra 1, or Algebra 2, you would put it as a cube root of 4 to the x plus 7. Either one of these would work out for you. And number 10. Is saying that y equals e to the x plus 7 over 4 to the 1/5 power. So we need to switch our x and our y so that we don't make the same mistake that we made last time, and we have to go back and make sure that we do it right. So the first thing you always want to do is switch those variables. X is e to the y plus 7 over 4 raised to the 1/5 power. And from here, we can see that my variable has several things going on. We have a plus 7, we have a divide by 4, we have an exponent, and I need to deal with the exponent first, then the division, then the addition, so that we're doing our GEMDAS here. The opposite of raising something to the 1/5 power is just raising something to the power of 5. Because when you multiply these exponents, you get 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So to make this exponent go away, we're going to raise both sides to the power of 5. This says that x to the 5th is e to the y plus 7 over 4. Our next move is to get rid of this 4. We need to multiply both sides by 4, and you'll get 4x to the 5th is e to the y plus 7. And now we can just get rid of our 7. We're going to subtract our 7, and we get 4x to the 5th minus 7 is e to the y. And this is the exact scenario that we're looking for. We want base to the y so that we can write our sentence. This says that y is the exponent of e to get 4x to the 5th minus 7. Using this sentence, we can now rewrite our log. Y equals log base e of 4x to the 5 minus 7. And last step, we can simplify this. This is not the same y, so y to the minus 1 is the natural log of 4x to the 5 minus 7. There you go, guys. I will see you tomorrow, and hope you have a great afternoon.